Folks, the American way is under threat. I think we all know that. But how do we know it? Because the guy who played Superman in the television series has told us.
Good morning, Ainsley.
What do you think? First it was Paw Patrol.
This one's got me a little fired up.
I'm sure. All right, first it was Paw Patrol. It was the war on cops. Now superheroes. You were a superhero, and now you're a police officer. What do you think?
Look, I played a superhero on television. This is insane to me, though, because these are the people. These people will scream anti-police rhetoric all day long, but when their life is threatened and they need a hero, they will dial 911, and a police officer will show up because police officers are heroes. Now, yes, there have been some bad apples. There's been some bad situations, but 99.9% of all police officers are fantastic. They are there to serve and protect, and they do a fantastic job. This whole cancel culture thing that we're living in right now is crazy. It's like an early version of George Orwell's 1984. Up is down, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. You know, that's newspeak, and it's crazy. And what this article does in Time magazine, what they talk about, I mean, from the very beginning, she makes a bunch of...
Pause it for 1 second. I want to go back a little bit. Did he say this is an early version of George Orwell's 1984?
Yeah, this is like 1976 or something. I don't know.
Will you go backwards? I'm not sure I'm trying to the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is it?
It's 1984, the prequel? Is that what he meant?
Yeah, he said he was sliding into SJW totalitarian state.
I mean, I just can't. All the superhero movies that have been going on for the last decade, and this guy hasn't really got a lick of that. So I mean,
yeah, to become a reserve officer. Yeah. He's got a nice gaming chair.
What is the what is the Time magazine op-ed? It calls to re-examine superheroes. What is it called for? That we shouldn't.
Probably. This is just problematized superheroes. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm down for that. Batman being fascist. I don't know.
Let's read into this article a little bit to see because I wasn't.
Brennan, you're not sharing the right thing.
This is. I mean, I'm a little bit disturbed by this. We're re-examining how we portray cops. Now it's time to talk about superheroes.
I mean, it'd be nice to just defund the cops first, but.
In this period of reckoning, the long-showed cops was, yes, okay, scroll down. Yeah, we're no longer, Paw Patrol. We're not celebrating cops as being, something that they're not and creating this disinformation. Superheroes have dominated popular culture for the last decade, just for the last decade. And with a few notable exceptions, most superhero stars are straight white men who either function as an extension of a broken U.S. justice system or vigilantes without any check on their powers. Yes.
More lady cops.
And let's see. In fact, I guess what the argument is that maybe we should start to display superheroes as like sort of the weird phenomena they are.
I had a theory, speaking of 1984, Orwell has the theory of oligarchical collectivism in that book, deep into it. And it made me think of all these, like, it's one superhero is enough for a movie now. You have to have like 9 different superheroes. I don't watch any of these movies, so that's all as deep as I can analyze it. But
I mean, what would happen if we didn't have a straight white guy to come save the day for everybody? That would be weird. But let's listen to Dean's breakdown of this, because it is sort of like an early version of George Orwell.
Yeah,
I guess. Is that what he's talking about? Maybe he's saying like this is how it starts and leads to. I see. Okay.
Is crazy. It's like an early version of George Orwell's 1984. Up is down, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. I would love to see those. That's newspeak, and it's crazy. And what this article does in Time magazine, what they talk about, I mean, from the very beginning, she makes a bunch of, the author of this article makes a bunch of claims that are totally untrue. She says, in the real world, tolerance for law enforcement acting with impunity is eroding. Law enforcement acting with impunity has never been something we've tolerated, never will. Calls to defund the police have now gone mainstream. They haven't. Look at Seattle's chop zone.
Literally, not figuratively, literally allow police to act with impunity. There is a legal doctrine that is, it's called qualified immunity. Like, we literally have a doctrine that says you can act with impunity if you're acting as a cop. So, but continue.
Law enforcement acting with impunity has never been something we've tolerated, never will. Calls to defund the police have now gone mainstream. No, they haven't. Look at Seattle's chop zone. Look what happened there. Look at the crime statistics in New York City. Then she says Hollywood heroizes cops.
He did not address. I can't believe I'm getting into a debate with Dean.
Yeah, seriously.
But
we still got like 40 seconds here.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry. The fact is that like the idea of changing of defunding the police and reinvesting in other things has completely gone mainstream. It's never been as a popular of idea as it is now, and it's
more and more
it's
people
fairly popular. But
you can destroy that in one just a list of titles: Training Day, Serpico, The Departed, The Wire, Black Klansman, Rampart, Rambo. I mean, the list goes on and on because a bad cop is a great villain because they're not supposed to be bad. So this stuff all just drives me insane. I promise you, as Superman, I wouldn't today be allowed to say truth, justice, and the American way.
Oh my gosh, you're right. You're absolutely right. But if you watch any of these superhero shows, there's usually a protagonist. There's usually one bad guy, but all the superheroes are trying to fight him. And they always show that good prevails in the end. Paw Patrol, my daughter loves it. You have these Paw Patrols that come and save the day, and they rescue, and they help out the good people.
Oh, my God.
Wow. That clip was worse than I had imagined.
oh boy,
They've reverted to like being toddlers.
Well, they're trying to turn everything into a culture war and make it about cancel culture.
Actually, that is Tim Pool. Yeah.
People are not out in the streets asking to cancel cops, right? We're trying to change the system whereby people get murdered by cops. It's a little different.
Well, to be fair, our regular caller, Ronald Reagan, is trying to cancel Paw Patrol. I mean, he's been on that.
He's been on that for a long time.
Well, I support that as well. But like also we are sliding into fascism and horror, right? But it's not because of the movement for Black lives. It's exactly the opposite. Like these movements in the streets are trying to work against the slide into totalitarianism and fascism. But I don't know, his brain is scrambled. I don't know why I'm treating this like a serious debate that I'm having.
You get too caught up with Tim King, but this is what
Superman
Superman, and it
so
breaks my heart that my son will have to look back on his time enjoying Paw Patrol and realize that Chase was maybe not so great after all.
Yeah, it's going to turn him into a fascist.
I like the idea of like a super powerful space alien who can, like, move faster than a speeding bullet is worried about someone being mean to him on Twitter.
I mean, frankly, it was weird that he was so invested in the American way. I mean, I don't know. When he was, we just killed the Nazis, it made a lot more sense, I think. Mm-hmm. Now coming to America and being like, America is the best country out of all the countries on this little sphere you got. Great job, guys. Yeah, it might be a little bit different.
I mean, there's almost no president that shouldn't be canceled if you look at how they treated the Native Americans throughout history. Like I learned some new stuff from Nick Estes on the Antifada last week.
About good old Lincoln?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.